I just wanted to go over a little problem that I found with these LED retrofit bulbs for older flashlights. In some of these it will not work. This one right here, this is one of these 6-volt lanterns, and the center post on the battery is negative. Positive is the outer one. So this works fine with an incandescent bulb, but most of these LED bulbs, the center is positive and the outer collar part is negative. And LEDs are polarity sensitive, so they will not work, this bulb in particular, and I believe most of these types of LED retrofit bulbs will not work in a flashlight like this. I have tested it, it doesn't work. This flashlight right here, this is a new old stock Greatland flashlight from Target. You can see I have one of these LEDs in here. This is a 4AA flashlight, it's 6 volts, so it's wired in series, and it works just fine. Let me try and turn it on. As you can see, it's working. I didn't have to turn the batteries the wrong way or anything like that. The batteries are in the way they're supposed to be. So this one is wired properly for a bulb like this. However, this flashlight, which is a slightly older version of this one, is wired opposite, and it's also wired in parallel. So this is only a 3-volt flashlight. And another problem that I came across with these is this one is rated, I believe, the lowest voltage is 4 volts. So it will not light up in this flashlight if the batteries get below a certain point. It worked for a little while, but this bulb won't light up at all now in this flashlight, and the batteries are still at 1.5 volts each. But as I was saying, this one's wired in parallel, so it's really effectively only a 2-cell flashlight, but since it's got the other 2 in there, since it's 4 total, you get a little bit more capacity, but lower voltage. So yeah, unfortunately, unless you turn the batteries over the opposite way, an LED won't work in this. Now, I did, like I said, get it to work for a little while, and I had to turn the batteries over. There's a problem with that as well, though, that I'll go over in just a second. As you can see, this flashlight is working, but I will take the batteries out and show you what the problem is with turning the batteries over on this flashlight. Alright, now here's the problem. You can see at the positive end of the battery, it's extended. Negative is not. Normally, the positive would contact right there, and the negative would be up there. It's not an issue. However, if you want to switch the battery over and have the negative down here where the positive would normally be, you can see that the plastic battery holder on this flashlight is actually going to keep that part of the battery from reaching that terminal. Now, on this side it's not an issue because there's a rivet right there, which is raised, so it will make contact properly on this side if you flip the battery over. And on top, where the negative terminals would normally, or the positive terminals would normally be, it's not an issue either because they're extended a little bit more. They're not as shallow as the ones on the bottom. And since this flashlight is wired in parallel, you can run the bulb off of just 2 batteries. Of course, you're going to get shorter battery life because it doesn't have the extra 2, but you will be able to run the LED that way. I don't think that's really that ideal because, again, you're going to get shorter battery life because you're not going to have all 4 in there. But it's certainly possible to do with this, and I eventually, once I get the LED that I ordered for this, I had to order one that was 3 volts instead of a minimum of 4 volts. I'll probably put something in between that terminal and the battery to get it to have its full battery capacity. So this is just something I wanted to share, that even though these flashlights are pretty much the same thing, they're not actually. And these LED bulbs will not work in certain flashlights. Now, on some flashlights, this issue where the terminal isn't high enough won't be a problem, because they're designed differently, but it is a problem with this one, unfortunately. This one right here is wired correctly for an LED, but I think the incandescent is sufficient in this one. I think it's pretty bright, actually. It's kind of hard to tell, but this one's sufficient for me. This one, since it's wired in series, was also pretty bright, even with the incandescent bulb, but the LED is much brighter, and I'm very happy with it. So that's what I'll be doing with this one eventually. I'll have to modify it a bit, but it will work. Because right now it's not very bright, being that it's only a 3-volt flashlight. So, yep, this is just a little problem that I ran into with these, which is unfortunate, but it can be fixed. And just to prove that this is wired in parallel, and it can run on only 2 cells, you can see I have 2 batteries in it, and the other 2 are not in. And the light is still on. So if I were to put batteries in this side and take these out, it would still be on. So, yep, there you go.